Okay, here we go.
All right.
Is it Laborde?
It's Laborde.
Laborde.
The
Okay.
the Laborde is what I'll bring in. This is good podcast stuff anyway. Uh, Laborde means that someone's calling me trying to sell me something.
Okay. All right. Let's
Yeah.
start recording.
All right.
Welcome to Learn with Us. Today on the show, Gant Lab. Oh, how to pronounce it again? Laborde.
Yeah, just Laborde.
Okay.
The yeah, you can keep all this. It's up to you.
We'll try again.
You
Gant
got it.
Laborde. Welcome
Mhm.
to Learn with Us. Today on the show, Gant Laborde.
Hey, everybody.
And I'm not going to try and Laborde you something,
Okay, but good.
which is Spanish for I sell you something or something like that.
I have no idea. My name means so many different things. I think it's Gant means glove in French, and Laborde means the edge. Of course, I don't speak any French, and I know very little Spanish, so I have no idea.
Cool. So I've got my screen here. I'm just going to show them a flash through your GitHub repository.
Oh
So
yeah.
for my audience, I run this TensorFlow Discord server, and we've got about an average of like 500 people online. And sometimes people they throw like libraries on there, and I'm not sure if Gant put it in there, but he wrote this library called Not Safe for Work.js, which
Hmm.
is a library that detects not safe for work content on the client.
Hmm.
It says a small
Yeah.
JavaScript library to help you quickly identify unseemly messages on the client's browser.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. That's it's a pretty interesting project. Do you want to go? Do you want us to go into it a bit?
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah, one of the most interesting aspects of this is that machine learning's been around for a while. I think that like 2012, people started actually paying attention to machine learning again. 2015, it started to become something that's like a bit more an aspect where it started to pass human-like capabilities, and then now we can make it do all kinds of fun and interesting things that help people out. And one of the cool things that was happening in 2018 or so, you had TensorFlow.js, which brought the ideas of machine learning directly into the browser. And I was thinking to myself, okay, what is a sort of cornerstone help the community kind of project we could do that people would actually enjoy and would help people out? And I came up with Not Safe for Work JS.
So how did you manage to like train that data without having like psychological problems? I mean, you must have had a lot of
I,
dodgy data to
I,
train on.
I still have psychological problems from it specifically, for sure. So that's exactly like the problem, right? Large companies have people, thousands of people trained and sitting there at machines looking at that kind of stuff. And I've heard like they quit their jobs. If you go to YouTube, you go to Facebook, and they go there and they look around and they remove um, just certain kinds of content. And no, I totally get it. And this is like an essential property of what we need to do to protect all the content that's out there and protect people from malicious people, which I think any platform should take on. But the problem is, how the hell can you and me do that? How could we actually kind of take care of this? And so the trick is, as any developer, do it once and then never do it again. Sort of like, that's we don't repeat ourselves, right? That's the idea. So what we did was is like we need something that you know, for instance, let's say you have a conference and people can send each other messages at your conference, right? You don't want to hire somebody to sit there and moderate those messages that go through your platform. Secondly, you shouldn't have a person sitting there reading everybody's messages to one another. But my idea was like, wouldn't it be great if someone sent a message and it came in blurred out and something said like, "Oh, we are 95% sure this is not okay. Go ahead and tap it to unblur. Live your life, but just be careful because our AI has detected this." Or people are uploading stuff to your website to sell or things like that. It's like there's all these different applications that this needs to be a library. And as like, we need to train this once. We need to kind of get it set up and then kind of have it done. So, fortunately enough, the internet is full of perfect, already human selected categorizations of data. It's just scraping it. So, for instance, Reddit is perfect for this. There's entire subreddits that are already human enforced to be clean, and there are entire subreddits that are pretty much human enforced to be dirty. And scraping the correct images from those and getting it probably got us 80% of the way there with most of the data.
Mm-hmm.
Then deduplicating the data, removing images that were, I guess, like this image could not be found, like some of the basic setup there, brought it to a ridiculously accurate data set that I would not force upon anyone. But a few of us sarged through and kind of like made sure that it was clean and set up
Mm-hmm.
and identified and got a great training set to create this algorithm to create this library.
Mm-hmm. What's this Hente thing?
Oh yeah. So there's this aspect. So one of the people who wrote the original scraping libraries went ahead and identified because here we are in the U.S. We don't have this nearly as much, but in other countries, especially specifically like Japan, there's pornographic drawings, and it's a significant amount of like what's around. So it was important to identify drawings from pornographic drawings. And since you have anybody who's familiar with like transfer learning, and I'm not really sure if, let me know if I buzzword too much or if somebody's not used to some of the AI stuff. But considering the fact that it's learning the convolutions of pornographic elements, it just needs a little bit more in order to apply those to drawings as well.
So this library with the same model can identify porn and Hente, or are these are separate models?
No, it's one particular model with
Wow,
5 possible classifications.
that's great. Because
Yeah.
well done. No, no, it'd be great
Thanks.
if like I could apply it to movies. Like so, like
Yeah.
this library would like go like 5 seconds ahead and filter out all the cussing and sex scenes and blood and gore, and then I could have like a PG version of any film I watched. That, but
You know what? That's actually not a bad plan. And one of the things I'd say that okay comes in here is we're looking to make this applicable to. So already it works with animated GIFs, and yes, I will say GIFs, not GIFs, but it already works with animated GIFs, and it could work with like videos. As a matter of fact, I think there's an entire. What's really funny about this is you learn there's several different spectrums of people. There are certain people who want to watch a movie clean, and there are certain people who just want to watch the pornographic portions of any movie.
yeah,
And so there's a website, I believe it's called Mr. Skin. I could be completely wrong on that. Um, which identifies the pornographic scenes of any movie. And people will go in there and they'll timestamp when it happens. Funny enough, this AI could be exactly used for that. I've actually come up with a lot of really interesting applications of this. But if you could show it in, if you break down the frames and you show it in a movie, it would be able to essentially replicate all the data on Mr. Skin uh, to, at least its 93% accuracy, and throughout the entire movie. And then you could actually like build in some fail safes. Like you can't have just one frame, maybe it has to be a certain number of frames,
I'm sure
but
the
you
movie
could
producers will
essentially have the
actually.
AI do it.
I'm sure the
What's that?
movie producers would have a lot of input to say, like you're modifying our movies, um,
Yeah.
but the movies can't stop you pausing and fast forwarding it. So like this is a sort of automated thing,
Right.
you know.
Well, so right now it's a classification algorithm. It could be an object detection algorithm. So there could be even the portion where it would overlay like maybe green or black bars in the correct places. Um, I've actually thought about using, there's a methodology for taking a classification algorithm and using that to train object detection. So what's really cool is I could actually, with enough effort, possibly take this and make it so that it would know exactly where to place the bars on there to sort of protect your view. The audio, however, it's a little more complicated.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go to the library quickly, look at the
Yeah.
source code. So I
Yes. Yes.
guess not safe for work JS has the model.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So for the video people, I'll say this: the logo for Not Safe for Work JS is is hilarious because either people get it or they don't. And then when you look at this library, it is really simplified. What I wanted to make sure is that you could say, I don't know anything about machine learning or AI.
Yeah.
And then I want to npm install not safe for work JS. And then I do have some extra steps that I would like you to do. It needs to grab the model off of the server. So I'd like you to host that locally. But fortunately, the nice people at Infinite Red are fronting hosting costs for anybody who can't do that. And then what happens is the library will grab the model, and then you'll be able to identify just here's an image, here's a canvas element, here's a video element. Like you just throw things into it, um, and it'll tell you whether or not it's come back with what percentage it's sure that it's porn, hentai, sexy, neutral, or a drawing. And then what happens is if you have a GIF, you have to call a different call. But a GIF, it can actually break it down by the frames and tell you at what point it's turned pornographic. Because an anime GIF can start clean and then go dirty. Just to catch everybody up, the model data is like gigabytes of data. The final model is 2.5 megabytes. So we run gigabytes of data through the model training algorithm, and what pops out the other side is a little function, and that's all it is. It's a function. On the Not Safe for Work JS platform, we've wrapped that function around all the JavaScript necessary to make sure that you don't have to worry about thinking about this, and now you can go apply it. But if we're going back up the train here, it is that model is trained over an NSFW.js repository in Python against a larger, like 30 gigs of data on a training set. We originally had 60 gigs of data, but what I decided to do was uh, to speed up training time is to get a way more accurate, way more useful 30 gigs of data. So it was trimmed down significantly, removing duplication, a bunch of other stuff.
Can you send me the link to the repo with the training model?
The link
Yeah.
for training? Yeah, sure. So we'll have the notsafeforworkjs.com. If you pull that up, it has a website that gives you the ability to drag over images and try them instantly. It has 3 different models you can check out at the bottom. Now, at the very, very bottom, you see copyright now-ish. Buy the shirt. Not safe
Just
for
2
work
seconds.
GitHub. And
Where can I find the link to there? Oh, that's afterwork.com, right? Got you.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And then at the very bottom, sort of in the middle, there's a thing called model repo.
Model repo, yeah.
And then that will bring you to the Python. And so that one, funny enough, so I programmed the model repo first. So we went from Python to JavaScript.
Okay, so okay. This will basically reveal how much I don't know about machine learning. I'm looking at the
I'm that's a good thing. Like for a podcast host, whatever, man, just ask anything that you want, and we can dig into it. Because truth is, I don't know that much about machine learning.
okay, so
I've been studying it for a while, and I still feel like a complete idiot.
so what I look at what folder is it? Training, not safe for work detector,
Oh,
or I'm in the not safe for work model repo.
okay. So if you're looking at the not safe for work model repository, inside of training,
Yep.
um, we have different setups. So let me kind of go back. Let me back up here for a second. So the truth is there are different ways to train this, and there are different models. So actually, I'll tell you what, go under not safe for work model TF1/training. This is good. You could see here There's two models that we used for transfer learning. The
Mm-hmm.
first one was the Inception version 3 model, and the second one was the MobileNet version 2 model. And so you can see inside those are the code. It's Keras on top of TensorFlow. Uh, those have the code for training it in Inception, and then the other one has the code for training it under MobileNet version 2. Now, we've trained this model in very different ways. We tried ResNet, different stuff, because the truth is, the model architecture will modify how accurate it is, whether or not it's prone to type 1 or type 2 errors, a bunch of different kinds of aspects of this. So uh, they're very similar, though. So I just want you to see, if you take a look at the difference between the MobileNet version 2 and the Inception version 3, when you look inside there, the code's very simple, very fine there. So there's train initialization. Of course, we are doing some generators. I think the generators isn't like normally how we talk about this, but that's the image data generators that will actually mutate and lightly mess with the images, so that way we get even more training data because 30 gigs wasn't enough. So we have all these extra aspects inside there, and then so you can take a look at this, just basically taking the data, running it through, and I think that I did some fine tuning. So after I did the initial training, it's easy to get about 85% accuracy, but then you want to unlock more layers on the model, so that way you can do some fine tuning on the actual training to get it up to over 90%.
It's amazing that Google
um
Chrome doesn't have this built into it already. This is legit stuff.
oh yeah, well, yeah, it'd be nice. But yeah, unfortunately, all this. Well, I mean, not unfortunately. You have to, if you want to work on your own model, you have to kind of speak Python a bit, and you can train in TF Node.js, and that's improving drastically, and the libraries are improving there. I saw that there's a new thing that's sort of like it's like pandas, but for the JavaScript side. It's called like Danfo.js, I think. So the if you want to choose just one language and then be able to use that the whole way through, that's coming. But I mean, if you take a look at like when I was editing this, I'd say that this project is over a year old. So when I had to get down and dirty with it, I had to go ahead and use Python.
So what's this other this pandas is an alternative competitor to TensorFlow, right?
Pandas is for just like data management, for reading in data frames and such. I don't think I needed it here at all. Actually, I don't think I used it here at all, because this is just reading in images, and therefore Keras is like fantastic with that. Maybe I'd have to use it if I brought in, like object detection, but I'd have to take a look at some of that code to make sure. But yeah, no, you just use Keras, and then I don't know if your listeners know, but Keras is sort of like the standardization for TensorFlow now. TensorFlow 2 is standardizing on Keras, so all your sort of you know Francois Chalet Keras knowledge that you've been like building up is just more applicable now, directly to TensorFlow 2. Yeah, it's been really cool. And then working with this stuff, I mean, I would say this code's probably not. I mean, it's not going to blow anybody away, but it is functioning great, like trainable code. I ran it on this computer for, I want to say, with a 1080 GPU. Um, Actually, I think I've got a 1070. Ran it for about. I was able to get to the 80% accuracy within about 48 hours to 72 hours. And then doing the fine tuning, I think I ran it for about a week. And that's per model. So I did it with Inception, I did it with MobileNet. We've had people in the community show up, and then they've added some code as well. We've tried it with ResNet, it did not improve. And we're just taking the best that we have and bringing those out there. So that's why when you go to notsafeforworkjs.com, you can actually select your model, and it gives you file size versus accuracy.
So why give so much time away? Why not just make this a commercial service that
Yeah,
people can download
that's a
and
great question. this is definitely something we wanted to do for a community. We love building stuff for helping people out. We're a consulting company, so two things that need to happen there. One, we need to give back. It's absolutely essential. Two, we need to kind of like show our chops, as well. And whenever we build something for a client, or building a product would take a long time anyway. uh, Doing stuff for our clients takes, it, lots of times we're not allowed to show that stuff. Like we signed a lot of NDAs. So we wanted to build something that helps the community, and then also is like a significant positive impact, which is one of our core values. And so it was really cool to kind of like build this in public. And actually, I have to say, building it in public kind of helped out because it had some bias in the beginning. One of the things that it used to do is actually, it would classify, God, what's his name, the guy from Jurassic Park. Anyways, it would constantly classify him as pornographic. Uh, Jeff
What
Goldblum.
guy?
Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, really?
Constantly, he was constantly pornographic. As a matter of fact, let me see. Let me share something for you real quick. So, if for anybody watching in this part of it, let me share. Um, oh, that's how you turn off your video. Let me present a window, and I'll present this. Let's see. Can you see this now?
Yes, I can. Yep.
Okay. So what's happening here is, this is the testing, just sort of showing it in case anybody wanted to, like, didn't have any images on hand. Now, of course, it's got blur protection turned on because I'm not brave enough to do this live. So you can see them dragging over hentai, and it notices that it's hentai. Actually, if you see on the right side here, I have not safe for work delay.gif, which is an image that's clean, then goes dirty, and it shows you how that works. But you see right here, I have jeffgoldblum.png. This is forever part of what I have to worry about now, because the community and Jeff Goldblum found out that he kept identifying as porn. Now, to be honest, every photo of Jeff Goldblum, he's touching his mouth. So I think that might have had some small portion of this. But yeah, I had to. A bunch of people came back and they said he's always porn, and I thought it was hilarious. But doing this with the community, doing this together, and not doing this commercially, we're able to like solve these problems with everybody. And so unfortunately, he's fixed now. He's now 93% neutral, which I'm very sad about.
Can you Google search? Can you Google search and see what other images come up of him, just to see how many?
Oh yeah, you want to see how much he
Yeah.
actually touches his mouth? Sure. Let's see here. Jeff Goldblum. Um, we'll go to his images. You see, look here, he's touching his chin. Can't help himself. He touches his face constantly. Look at this. Touch, touch, touch. Look at his fingers right there. Look at this one. All right. I'm sorry, but he kept coming back positive. He can't help himself. But
Maybe
truth
it's
be
his
told,
glasses in his eyes as well. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know what set it off. But basically because of that.
look at him there. He's got his
I
chest
mean,
out there.
yeah, just. But anyways, the good thing about this is what's he holding here? There's not even something in his hand. So yeah. Yeah, for some reason, this helped us identify that I needed to put a bunch of images of Jeff Goldblum into the training data, and then of course keep a large set of images of him inside the the test data that the model's never seen before. And then so now it works. But yeah, pretty interesting aspects, and I think that's really cool because truth is, we don't run a product shop. This would have been a nice product, but I'm not sure it's something we want to charge people for. It was definitely something that we want to show our prowess and say, you want some TensorFlow.js? We're a good consulting company for it, and here's a gift.
What about David Hasselhoff or the Knight
Oh,
Rider guy?
Hasselhoff, yeah,
Yeah, would
that's a
that.
good
Let's
question.
see what can you put one of
Yeah,
him in?
yeah, yeah, sure. We could just hold on. Let's do this live. All
I remember
right, let's
this
try.
guy in our office. He was away from his desktop, and he didn't unlock his computer, so we got a picture of David Hasselhoff on the beach, bare chest, and he put that
Yes.
as his desktop background, and he came back on, and it was
Uh,
hilarious.
we have there's a Ruby gem called the Hasselhoff gem. I think there's a JavaScript npm module too that if you run the command, it will basically turn your desktop into Hasselhoff. So yeah, that's perfect. Let me get over here. Let's see, sharing. Okay, so um, let's see here. We have the Hoff. So I'll grab let's try this easy one. This should be a easy one. We'll say
Yeah,
we'll name him 1. Of course I named things 1 before. All right, now he's getting a little bit more exposed here, so we'll say save image. This will be 2. All right. Well, this is definitely like, so let's go. This will be 3. Now, this is a difficult section here, by the way, of identifying topless men versus topless women. It's weird, because like here in the States. So I'd say that we're creeping in on probably one of its most difficult abilities here. All right. What else? You said there was a beach photo. Maybe I should just type beach.
he's lying
Would
on
be
the
a good
beach.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, just type Hasselhoff beach. Let's see how we do here. Now, do keep in mind, the funny thing about this is that this thing, even though it's, oh, geez, uh, even though it's 93% accurate, it is, human beings are 99% accurate.
right. Okay.
So you do not want to make this a blocker for your
Yeah,
site. Because what was it? Some websites were like, people are trying to upload posters or something, or like toasters. And it was like saying, oh, this is pornographic. It was Tumblr, right? And they were having all these problems. No, until you surpass human beings, you can't like make it a barrier. So we have 1 here. Let's bring in 1. Yep, that is. I mean, I think he's kind of sexy, but he's 97% neutral here.
yeah.
Let's see if we get a little bit more. He's
Uh-oh.
getting a little less neutral. He's getting a little more 3. I don't know why this thinks it's a drawing. That is really weird, but it did not come up with
It's
pornographic,
probably that
which is
red float he's got there.
something about it, yeah.
It's too
Um,
monochromatic.
oh, good.
Neutral.
It caught him.
Neutral.
Good. Yeah, it got him. That's good.
I mean,
And
I
then,
guess
yeah.
I guess if you want
Why
to
does
really
it
really
keep coming
safe,
back
like
drawing?
2% porn would be like probably a limit, right? Because 3%.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's up to you. Like, so this is trained a little bit around. This brings up questions on ethics, of course, and like what is decent, right? And so this was drawn by a Reddit community. Like, and if people are biased, the data would be biased, and then they would be biased. But this is like acceptable on Reddit, is what I'll say. If you have a large data set, then I'd say you train it on the data set of from your community, or actually you can even modify this data set, do some transfer learning on top of it so that it actually fits a little bit more specifically to your community. But yeah, I'm really glad. Like I said, I am not brave enough to drag over pornographic images and on live, but it works like almost all the time. And the brave of you do it. The trusting of you don't do it. But I do have blur protection, but I guarantee you, like one day I'm just gonna miss this Dropbox. I'm gonna actually click it here, drop it here, and then the whole like page is gonna go to an image or something. That's good. This is a really great model, by the way, the 93% accurate one.
That's
So.
I mean that's going to save a lot of money on people that have got don't want to put that on servers. Like they've got some app.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh yeah, it's running. By the way, just so that everybody knows, this is running right here. This is on my machine. If I have a great GPU, that's how it's running. If I don't have a great GPU, that's what's happening. So it'll be a little bit slower. But yeah, the server is not doing any of this calculation whatsoever. Yeah,
so if
this is a great thing.
Anyone uses this, you should seriously give him a donation or whatever it is
Yeah.
that he has.
Honestly, I'll say come see me do a talk, or definitely give Infinite Red your consulting if you ever get a chance, because we love we love helping people. Like look how stupid our website is. We're reliable, we over communicate, and we over communicate. We're as fun as you can be professional. It really is. It's just a lot of fun for stuff for us. So that's how you can help out. If you are just a developer, hopefully we're the ones helping you. That's the way I look at it.
So can you share what kind of client projects you're working on right now, or past ones?
Yeah,
Or
with AI or with
just like Infinite
um,
Red.
oh yeah, we've got some major companies. Now I can never remember the NDAs. So I'll say this: we have helped major video providers. Um, we've helped Microsoft, we've helped Google, we've helped Facebook. Um, all that's easy enough. And we are currently working with um, some companies that help you find the best prices of certain things. Damn, I don't know if I can say some of these companies, but yeah,
Okay.
we love it. We love doing these things and working with people. Um, Small companies too, startups. We love startups. Startups are great. That's where the AI seems to be, because you come to us and you say, yeah, I'm coming to an industry that already exists. Okay, why? And they say, I'm bringing AI, and then we go, aha. So what they do is they're doing something that none of their competitors do, and that's their disruptor. That's how they're beating out the industry, and that's how they're kind of like grabbing their own little piece.
So
So I really like that.
so in terms of the models that you use, you based it on like research papers, and you built that same model on in Python.
This one was specifically, we, the great thing about some of those models is that there's already ready to go stuff. So I didn't actually have to recreate Google's Inception version 3 or Google's MobileNet or anything like that. They already provide those models ready for you. Um, I just I'd say the most I've done is like I've gone in and modified it as much. Like first of all, the transfer learning, I'm throwing away one layer, but unfreezing and choosing how many layers back to go in there and kind of mess with it. Um, that's pretty much the most of it. But they provide that like straight up. ResNet, all the popular models are already going to be there, already available. Uh, I wouldn't mind writing some from scratch, but I guarantee I can't beat the Google Brain team. Like it's a whole team of people making sure they've got pretty good stuff. Um, but I think that what the things they're measuring, the things they're kind of figuring out, are ever so slightly different from what I need. Um, and I think that we as like individuals, we find the flavors by mixing other flavors that no one would have thought of, and that's the really cool thing that we get to do. We get to experiment, but I wouldn't go back and do any of that stuff from scratch. Sorry, machine learning enthusiasts.
Well, you can't compete with these guys that are doing PhDs and stuff like that, and
I
you're
know.
gonna have to be like, they think these are guys that are basically doing it full time.
Yeah, yeah. The men and women who are designing these things from the ground up, I love that I actually took one course on understanding all the math and writing it that way. I have used that pretty much 0 times. It just basically lets me go read papers and understand more.
Are you worried
But
there's going to be a sort of elitist society of these people that are up the top in terms of the AI
oh,
stuff, and everybody
there
else,
already
including
is.
us, and we are way down the pecking
Yep.
order around here as developers,
Well,
mere developers?
we already are, and that's the problem. So what I'll say is that the application of these things is of AI is purely protected and existing in Fortune 500s. And it is very rare because they don't want to give power to other Fortune 500s, so they don't make a lot of this information public. And so the difficulty here comes in is that, you know, um, we get versed with these ethics conversations without ever actually knowing. And it's only once it's trickled down to us, which means that decisions have been made for years by people who actually get this technology first. And we don't know. Like we'll talk about the popular form of what what's happening, but it's not until there's an extreme bias from Google, or that there's a crash with a Tesla car, that we actually even start to notice these things. They've known about it. It's been in like all these companies for a long time, and that's why I think developers need to get involved. Now I don't know if we actually have to go all the way into the point where we're going to um, create these things from scratch, but we should know where electricity comes from. It doesn't mean that we have to become perfect at it, but we should actually understand some of these concepts. And I think that that brings a democracy to AI, which is probably going to serve everybody more so than just large companies.
For me, like the trouble with mathematics, and basically this is all maths, and also
Hmm.
potentially quantum computing, is that
Oh yeah.
math is a vertical tower with knowledge where
Yeah.
you can't
Yep.
understand
Yep.
the next level until you understand this level. And the higher up
Yeah.
it goes, is the fewer people come along. And then you add on
Yep.
quantum computing to this, which also
Yeah.
further separates the developers. So you're going to end up with this like quantum computing and elitist like
Yeah.
mathematicians that are that are only the ones that can understand this stuff, and the rest of us plebs, for dramatic language, are basically.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
government borders won't matter. This stuff, this is beyond government borders, man.
it is, and here's the thing that I'll say: there's a lot of gatekeeping. For instance, not safe for work JS. Sure, we're using a lot of insane technology, but it's fun, and I think that like, if you know the goal you want, the distance doesn't matter as much. And then I think that that's part of the problem is that for instance, I did a blog article the other day talking about simple binary stuff, and sure enough, people like showed up and started nitpicking. One of my most popular blog articles was actually about AI. And one of the things that happened is someone showed up, said, "Oh, well, this is you can't treat this like it's a golden goose egg," and just started gatekeeping and telling people, like you can't get into AI without a PhD in math and all this other stuff, and then just scaring people away left and right. Fortunately enough, because my article was like, this is approachable. You should go build something. As a matter of fact, you should come up with the idea tomorrow, and then learn all the stuff you need to do in order to make it the next day. And that's the kind of the concept is that um, we should be building things that we've never seen before. That's what AI is doing, and that's where you should be. Because if you're not doing it, then you're not playing part in the revolution, and then you just get to live with the outcome. So what happens is, but they showed up, and they were starting to be like, oh well, don't do this, don't even try to get into that. There's no way you can. You're just a developer. You have to go back to college and get your PhD and all this other stuff. And fortunately enough, a whole slew of people came back and was like, "You're wrong. You're wrong." One of my favorite things to hear is like someone who has a PhD give a talk, and then people ask, "Oh, well, do I need my PhD to do this stuff?" And they say, "No, absolutely not. You don't need a PhD to do this. You can go do this." And I think I significantly agree with that. So I have a college degree. You don't need a college degree to be a computer programmer, right? Like we've come to that realization. You didn't need to waste a bunch of money and then go into debt. you know,
Basically, university is a scam
it is,
unless it's like a
and I will
reasonable,
happily tell everybody.
unless
Yeah,
it's like funded by the government or you know.
yeah, it which would be nice. But it's deep to get into that, and so I'll say like, yeah, sure, I learned stuff. Did I learn 5 years worth of stuff to get that piece of paper that's really worth it? Hell no. How many times have I had to implement shell sort? Like zero. I've been in programming for 20 years. And so like it was very wrong. What they wanted to teach you was algorithms, and they could have done it a different way. So yeah, it was a complete waste of time and money. And the only thing that it opens a few extra doors to people who don't know that. That's the value of my college degree. And I think that as I'm studying, I'm getting all these different certificates from these different universities online. I think those are more valuable. If I complete Andrew Ng's like Stanford course for machine learning, and I know what the value of that is, or something on Coursera, I know what the value of that is. I think these certificates show people who have actually like gone into these things and figured this stuff out. I'm way more interested in someone who has 5 specializations in AI than someone who took the classes or maybe even like minored in it in college. It's way more important to me to, because I don't want them to come in and start writing papers. I want people to come in and start building things. Yeah.
So it must be a very hard to get a job at your place with that kind of high level clients, man.
We're very people centric. We're very human centric. Our developers are friendly and smart, and so yes, I will say it's pretty hard because um, a lot of people. It's easy to just do one, to work on IQ and forget about your EQ. We With consulting though, you can't get away from that. Consulting's basically glorified teaching, and then when you hear that, you're like, well, why do you charge that price? The truth is that we're worth it, and like when you can actually talk to someone and say, hey, should I be doing this or that, and then get an answer that you understand. That's the value of consulting. I think that's the value of the stuff that we're doing here is approachability, developer advocacy, um, training teams of people to be able to go out and build something that'll make a bunch of money for the company.
So what if a client comes to you and has this code base and the code base is absolutely rubbish, crap code? Do you tell the client that, or do you just keep patching it and take the money?
So one of the things I'll say is that yeah, like I came from Ruby. Well, I've done tons of programming languages, but Ruby is where my heart is. Ruby talks about developer happiness. Um, there are some situations where you shortcut and you cut a corner, you take on a little technical debt, but you have to pay that back. You have to pay it down, and you have to keep the developers happy. Otherwise, you just end up with something no one will maintain. It'll
Yeah.
never grow. I
See,
mean, we've seen
when you're
tons of
working,
companies that are locked there.
when you like for me, I only get like 2 or 3 really good hours a day in coding, and I can
Yeah.
if I'm in the mood, right, I'll get more done at 3 hours than the rest of the day, 10 hours.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
if you're working in code that's just horrible code,
Yes.
this saps all the energy out, and you look like a rubbish
Yeah.
developer because you just can't get like be productive in it. But if you work on something
Yeah.
clean, you can just get that new feature out.
Dopamine's an essential part of this, like, right, like dopamine is why we create checklists, right? And if you're working in terrible code, you can spend hours to write one line of code. And what's your dopamine hit on something like that? If you change 15 files to clean something up, and then you are able to then share that, and you have documentation, and you everybody now understands it. Not only did you get 15 wonderful hits of dopamine, when you share that with everybody, you get this oxytocin that makes you connect and want to actually talk to people, and then you don't clam up and just say, I hope nobody looks at my git commits that only had one line of code. Yeah, we're human beings, and we love to forget it. We love to forget it, and I think that's it. When you forget that, you burn out. I burned out in 2008 to like 2009. I just didn't care about programming anymore, real bad, and it was open source that brought me back. Actually, 2008 to 2011, I think it was start and burnout all the way out, and then resurgence thanks to open source. It kind of like brought me back into the fold of that stuff, and so now I found this fix. I'm not letting that go.
So let me just steal a little bit of Infinite Red consulting time here and ask you a question.
Yeah, yeah,
I've basically
absolutely.
built a social network in Firebase and Svelte,
Oh wow.
and I was a bit lazy being that I didn't want to go around the whole server-side rendering thing. I just made it all an SPA and index page and all the roots.
Yeah.
But like when you share a profile link, for example, mentorcv.com/Nikos, obviously the metadata it doesn't give me a picture. If you share that link, it's just going to give the homepage metadata, right? And also the SEO it's not going to give you the bio in the search results. So
Right.
like, I'm thinking, should I just convert this whole thing to a proper server-side rendered either SAP app or Elder.js app, or just keep keep getting MVP1 out in this SPA mode.
Well, it's important, the shareability. So I think what you're talking about is you're talking about the social cards, the open graph, and all the other stuff. The meta description is not there, right?
Because
You're
it's just
getting
the
the meta
homepage. It's
description.
just the homepage they get to, and then the app loads
You
up
get
all the extra data.
right, right. So you're there. You're not getting the sort of like personalized share.
No.
Oh, um, for a social network, you're not getting that. I think you need to either figure out a workaround for that, because so we're talking about micro browsers, right? What is the metadata that they're going to get for these URLs? Is there so you said Svelte, is there a router setting for whatever the routing system is so that you could actually improvise so I would say either add to open source to give back a way to modify the metadata given through the routing system, so that way you could actually give personalized routing information, or if that's more work than just coming back and rewriting it, then I'd say come back and rewrite it, because dude, microbrowsers are on fire. It's so important. I mean, I sent a text message the other day and it played a video in the link. So I sent a link. I was like, "Hey, check this out." And then in that link, it's basically playing everything you need to want to click that link. Actually, it's very generous in the content of this text message, and I was like, "Wow." Like just the video in the micro browser playing directly there, and then I could share another link from another person, and there's just text, right? Which one's going to get clicked? The one playing the video. It's so essential now, to like every page, especially if you're looking to do something that needs to go viral or care a lot about shareability, like a social network.
I mean, at the moment it's just great. I can just do npm deploy and it pushes us out to Firebase, pushes up
Yeah,
the cloud functions, and it's just done. But then if I have to start having server side rendering, that's a whole other deal. It's more complicated
yeah,
infrastructure I need.
yeah. I always find that there's some kind of like hacky fix. Like maybe you could actually have like shareables could have like a specific path that has a lambda function that'll do something. You don't have to worry too much. No, but
I'm
I
also
don't
worried about
know.
Google
Like,
search results. Like
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. The SEO is its own thing. So marketing to people and marketing to Google, it's two different crafts. There are some overflow, but not much. I think it's like by its own thing. Yeah, I'd take a look. Specifically, you want to make sure that you're getting indexed properly as well. It's important for a business. It
yeah,
really is.
yeah,
So I get it, but it's not, your developer happiness is not in violation here, in the fact that you're doing something dirty. It's that you have more work,
yeah.
and that's not really a bad thing.
Also, at the moment, Svelte's still kind of.
Yeah,
Have you heard of Svelte?
I haven't used it yet.
Yeah, so it's still quite new, and so like
Yeah,
Sapper is like the server rendering framework that's kind of neglected because like everyone's focused on Svelte. So there's like Sapper and there's Elder.js, which is a sort of,
mm-hmm.
but like there's only like these are small libraries, and so like
Yeah,
if I rewrite my site to run on these things, then I'm kind of it's too much bus factor for me. So at the moment I'm just kind of DevJoy, simple site, that
yeah.
kind of stuff.
Well, what made you want to use Svelte?
Basically, I wrote React apps for the past 3 years.
Yeah,
I just got tired of rewriting all this boilerplate and stuff. The Svelte is just like half the lines of code. Um,
yeah,
you're working with raw. You basically it's like Adobe Flex, just two-way binding
mm-hmm.
everywhere. Global data store.
Yeah,
Yeehaw, and you go. But
yeah,
it's for me, it's fun. And
yeah,
37,000
yeah.
stars on GitHub now. Svelte has.
I definitely am interested. Well, I mean, of course, Vue passed up React, and then there's a moment of looking at Vue, but couple things. There's like the Weekend Warrior projects, which I really do enjoy, and then I'll pick up stuff like that. But when businesses come to us, just as a tidbit, they really they like to hear React, or they like to hear something that's been around for a good while. And I'll say specifically, there's a saying: "No one ever get fired for recommending IBM."
Hmm.
And that's part of why a certain level of business will just always kind of consume that kind of stuff. Like,
React.js,
um,
also known as the new AngularJS.
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This virtual
So,
DOM stuff is just so old fashioned, man. Waste of time.
yeah, React. Well, the cool thing about React is that a lot of times people come to us and they say, "We want a mobile app too." And the thing that I'll say that you can't get with Vue, because Vue native is not like React native, is that you get a huge code reshareability between web, iOS, and Android all inside of React. I'd say it's currently pretty unique. I have to evaluate Flutter, but I don't know if I want to do like a website with Dart yet or not. So we'll see.
Forget learning. I mean, I looked at Flutter and like, why do I need to learn Dart? I mean, what's the point? I mean, it must be good and fast, but
I
still, it's like
know.
so
I
niche.
think they screwed up by going with Dart. They definitely did. You hear that, Google? Screwed up.
I mean, from what I've read about Flutter, it's absolutely amazing. It works great, super fast, blows React Native out of the water. But it's Dart, man.
Yeah, I think that they messed that up pretty bad. And honestly, the marketing for Flutter is always like towards developers is way better. But for instance, sort of this platform independence capability, they're not winning on like larger industries. Amazon's going with React Native. Microsoft Office is now in React Native, and then now there's React Native Desktop, which is for Mac and Windows. So now you can generate like native app support. You don't have to go to not everything's an Electron app anymore, and so you can get performant native performance via the whole React Native train, and it's JavaScript, which is very approachable. So again, like I know Flutter wants to go everywhere, and then they're talking about how great it works and everything like that, but they put up a barrier, and I don't know if that's what's like kind of kept all these other businesses away from them.
The thing is, React is it can't move fast anymore. Like what they've been working on this thing against
Mhm.
S for 2 years. I can't remember the name of it. Synth or something. I
You
don't know.
React same like yeah, they're definitely they're moving in a bit like the Next.js stuff. What was it? You're talking about? Okay, now my brain's shut down. But it's all going to go into blocks eventually. Know that they do have a roadmap on where they're going with all this stuff. Um, but the goal is to serve. React has always served the effectiveness of Facebook. You know, it's part of why they made it in the first place. And that's good. They've got like their entire business is built upon it. It's not going to go away.
Hmm.
Whereas I do worry about that. That's another thing I worry about with Google stuff. You know, they, either they're going to buy something and shut it down, or they're just going to be like, "Oh, that thing everybody likes, it's gone."
Yeah,
And
like
I'm like, "Why can you do that? Everybody liked it." I've been bitten a few times over there. If they shut down TensorFlow.js, that's it. I'm flying over and I'm going to go punch them. No. TensorFlow is, I'll say this: machine learning's gone up drastically. They can't shut down TensorFlow or TensorFlow.js or any of that stuff.
I'll have to rename my Discord server to some. I should probably do
Yeah.
that anyway because it's like people go on there. Like, is this the official TensorFlow Discord server? No, it's just surfing on the wave of Google's trademark.
Yeah. Yeah. If they that, but I mean, there's well, it's good. I think like that's one of the things. Like sometimes the community picks up the slack. You know, for instance, they shut down what is it like that mail option, and like someone made a Chrome plugin to just like make it come back.
They shut down what mail?
What was it like some kind of like mailing thing that a lot of people used that Google shut down? I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I could message somebody and get it. And then they're like, "All right, this is going away." So people made a Chrome plugin to bring it back.
Have you made the Chrome extensions?
Yes, 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 yes.
So they are powerful. Like you,
Yeah.
for people, when people
Well,
see this data can read and modify stuff, you better be
yes.
careful.
I mean, they get access to all kinds of stuff. You know, you can mix them with TensorFlow.js too. So let's say you wanted to do something and you wanted it to do it to all pages, like out there in the world. So someone actually took Not Safe for Work.js and made it Chrome and Firefox plugin. So it'll just not render those images if they're unclean, or if they're not there. And then we did some with some facial recognition for a Chrome plugin as well. It's pretty crazy.
You could train it to like some celebrity and like do something with that picture every time this certain person came up, whoever it would be, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a website called nickornot.com, which actually identifies whether someone's Nicolas Cage or not,
All right.
which is a very valuable skill.
Have you seen ObamaNet?
The what?
Oh, ObamaNet.
ObamaNet? No.
It's a paper where they had Obama and they basically give him some text, this model, and a video of Obama pops out and he's
Oh,
speaking.
wow.
So we tried it and it's such a bad result. We put in some text and you see Obama talking, and his mouth is completely not in sync with what the text was, but it's.
We are getting there, though. I have a video where I made Bill Gates say that I was the best programmer in the world.
Nice.
Let me see. I'll have to send it to you.
CV website or something.
Yeah. I have ridiculous stuff all over
all
that.
These fake testimonials, all these celebrities.
Yeah. Let me see. Actually, I could show it to you real quick if you want to see. Let's see. Pause.
If we get that ObamaNet, I'm still going to put that on my website. That Obama.
Yeah.
Nikos Katsikanis.
Yeah.
He's been a developer for 12 years. He really knows this React stuff, and man, ES6 and Webpack, he's got it down. We're proud of Nikos. He's in his suit. President of the United States.
Yeah. I love it that we're at a point where you could kind of still tell it's a little bit fake. I really am worried about our next step, because we're about a year or two away from indistinguishable, easy to create fakes. And then what are we gonna do? I have no idea, because it's kind of like,
you trust for video evidence now.
Yeah, exactly. You know, a long time ago they used to, you know, they would a certain place would write a letter, and knowing that most people can't read, then close the letter and do a wax seal that only they have like the metalsmith ready to go ahead and do that, and the wax, and the courier. And so if you received a letter, there was no reason to question it, because like, who's going to have that wax seal? Who's going to have the ability to read? It's just like this kind of stuff. And then, with the pluralization of people being literate and other things, we've moved on. Technology kind of stayed ahead. Now we're hitting this weird point where what the hell is going to be authority? Like, how are we going to know any of this stuff? It's going to be interesting. Here's the video. And you can tell, by the way, this is fake. Otherwise, I would have felt real bad making it. It sounds like Bill Gates is drunk, and you can see the mouth chopping around a bit. So hopefully it catches the audio here. Let me know if you can see the audio that goes along with this. Let's see. And here we go.
Can't hear the audio.
You heard it?
No audio. You'd have to probably play it through your speakers.
You know what I'll do? I can loop back the audio through here.
Yeah.
I have that equipment. So here, try this.
Everyone to know Gant Laborde is the most impressive programmer in the world. Want everyone to know Gant Laborde is the most impressive programmer in the world.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
Is that all it was? Is that all it was?
That's all I did. That's it.
Okay.
Play
it again. I've got to say that again. That was so good.
Yeah. Actually, I'll let me send it to you if you want. But it's it is vocodes to get Bill Gates' voice, and then it's lip to wave to move that voice to his face.
Let me see if I can get the ObamaNet that we trained up.
Yeah.
Um,
I have to join your Discord. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna join your Discord and then drop.
this is Obama saying, "Hey, how are you?" Right? Okay.
Hey, how are you today?
Okay. Yeah.
Indian accent.
Yeah. Why does he have that
Hey,
accent?
how are you today?
I wonder if they have Obama on vocode.
How are you today?
Not even close. Let's see. Obama. No, we don't. Oh yeah, we have Obama.
I get a
Okay,
close up for
let's
the.
see. I'm gonna get this one to say, "Hey, how are you?"
you today?
All right, here's Obama via vocodes. You ready?
Yeah.
It's inferring.
Hey,
Right?
how are you today? Hey, how are you today?
That's good.
Not bad. That's better.
Hey, how are you today?
It's better.
There you
It's
go.
better than.
Hey, how are you today?
Oh, jeez.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure why it's an Indian accent, but no, that was the that was the input. You speak into it, I think, and he outputs it in the video.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. So that was someone else's voice.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that would be, yeah, we could do that. I say, yeah, if we can grab the vocodes of Obama, and then he could say like, and Nick, you're the best person in the world, or whatever, and then you could combo that with lip to wave, or you could stick it into ObamaNet, and then you might be able to get your video. Yeah, I'm gonna do a tutorial on that. I'm gonna release it next week on how to do that, and then I'll send it to you, and then you can make as many as you need to.
Legit. Cool, man. I think we'll. Okay, so anything you want to share with us before we finished our first episode?
Oh, wow, I have so much cool stuff. Let's see. I definitely had lots. I mean, I could talk about not safe for work JS a lot, but let's see. Do I have anything else? It is biased. The data is still biased, even though it's not there. But it's biased in the way that you would want a indecency checker to be biased. You would want it to accidentally flag, a little bit more. So it's a lot more type 1 error.
Mm.
And so, because whatever, like it's still not perfect.
It's so
And
funny to see what it flags. So like it's not supposed to be flagged,
yeah. If there's a study that someone did, let me show you this study that someone did. This is a pretty cool study, actually. I'll share my screen one more time. Last time, present, share a window. Oh, by the way, the thing you're about to see is 100% clean.
Good.
All right. This is not dirty in any way, no matter what your mind tells you. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. And then sharing now. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen that one before, yeah.
Okay, you've seen it before. All right, good.
Yeah.
For anybody who has never seen this before, this is a lamp, right? But you can see that actually all the different tools, so Not Safe for Work JS is free, but Google Cloud and Clarify are pay for, I believe. So you can see that they've identified these as all of us thought it was pornographic, and that's a good way to do it. So this is a great study.
But even if it's not pornographic, if it kind of imitates it, I think it should still be classed as not safe for work.
Right. If you for a second, if you're a person, you do a double take. I kind of like that as well. You know what? Actually, you could probably use these tools to come up with great marketing and advertising graphics, because you would what image would people billboard twice for, right? Like what was that? And then there's your product, right? But yeah, this is an entire study that does AI have a dirty mind, and two. And this is a pretty cool thing. So this is I think a PhD student who did a study on all this stuff, just to kind of check it out. And so I'll say, yeah, absolutely, still bias, still makes you look twice, just like a human being would. I don't mind that. That's kind of what I want to err on that side. So I'll say that there's really cool stuff about this. I could reach out if somebody wants to be a contributor. I always have stuff where people can come out and help do cool things. So yeah, this is a community project. It's for everybody.
Cool. And finally, how can people connect with you?
Yes, I have a website called GantLaborde.com. I am on Twitter as Gant Laborde. I'm very happy to just chat on Twitter. You can see the places I'm going to be speaking at next on GantLaborde.com, and it's a lot of fun technology. I'll be doing a talk with the TensorFlow channel, actually on YouTube/TensorFlow, coming up soon as well. And we're going to be doing facial sentiment analysis in real time. Lots of cool stuff.
Fantastic. Well, that was Gant Laborde, everybody. Hope I got his name right again. But
You did.
and we'll have you on again at some point as well. This is fascinating stuff for me. Thanks for making it a very enjoyable, entertaining, and funny podcast.
Thank you very much for having me.
How are you today?
Ringtone. All right. See y'all.
That's Obama. I hear Obama.
Hey, how are you today?
Dude, you got to give me your Discord.
Yeah, man, I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely send it to me. I want to. I will be in there chatting it up, and then I could drop all kinds of silly stuff. I made a TensorFlow.js tic-tac-toe trainer. That's pretty
legit.
fun. Yeah, we could chat about any things anytime. But yeah, it's like pretty fun content. But I love nerding out, so I really enjoyed this.
Okay, man. See you later.
Awesome.
See you.